This conference will now be recorded.
All right, just 1 second. All right, so let's start. A very good evening to everyone, and thank you for attending this session on pandas. We will try to keep this session as interactive as possible. So after we do a few set of codes, you can put your questions in the chat box, and I will answer them. And also, I have put in a few questions in the sheet that is provided to you, so you can use that to understand whether you're understanding the concept or not. All right, so before I start, let me give you a brief introduction about myself. I'm Devyant Agarwal. All right, and I'm a full-time options trader. I have a passion for coding, and so I keep conducting these classes regularly. I'm also the founder at Pinax, where we are trying to train young minds with topics related to finance, such as technical analysis, derivative analysis, and how to use Python for the stock market. All right, and also I'm a CFA and also I've completed my CFA and FRM examinations. All right, so now let's jump into pandas. So what is pandas? So let's jump into pandas. Pandas is basically a package in Python. All right, pandas is basically a package in Python that we are using to handle and manipulate data. So what do we mean by packages? See, you would have heard from many people who say that Python is a much easier language when compared to other programming languages. There are a very few set of there are a very few set of codes that one has to write when compared to other programming languages. So how is this possible? Obviously, when we are writing a programming language, we have to understand that the program needs the entire instruction. Only then will it function. Correct? You have to tell the computer what it ought to do and what is the entire process that it has to do. But we say that in Python, we require a very fewer line of codes when compared to other programming languages. This is possible because somebody has already done all the dirty work. That is, somebody has already written the codes and it has uploaded them on the server. ठीक है, किसी ने ऑलरेडी कोड्स लिखा है और वो कोड्स को उन्होंने सर्वर पे अपलोड कर दिया है, जिसको हम लोग पैकेजेस या लाइब्रेरीज बोलते हैं. ऑलराइट, जो डिफरेंट सेट ऑफ कोड्स है, तो किसी एक सेट ऑफ कोड्स को पांडास बोलते हैं, एक सेट ऑफ कोड्स को नंपाई बोलते हैं, एंड सो ऑन. ऑलराइट, तो ऐसे पाइथन में देयर आर मेनी पैकेजेस. Stock market related, there are also many packages like numpy where we are using as a which we are using as a computational horsepower. Similarly, there is pandas जो हम लोग data manipulation के लिए use कर रहे हैं, data handling के लिए use कर रहे हैं. Then we have TA library और TA lib जिसको बोलते हैं, which is for technical analysis and so on. वैसे ही zipline है for back testing. Then we have matplotlib for visualization and so on. Okay, so now let's discuss pandas in detail. तो pandas जो word है, it is derived from the word panel data. All right, pandas, the word is derived from the word panel data. So what is panel data? Panel data is any data that can be arranged in the form of rows and columns. कोई भी ऐसा डेटा जिसको हम लोग रोज एंड कॉलम्स के फॉर्म में अरेंज कर सकते हैं, उसको हम लोग पैनल डेटा बोलते हैं. नाउ दैट कैन बी एनी डेटा, whether it can be weather data, or it could be sports analysis data, stock market data, and so on. Now, before we move into more discussion about pandas, first let us import pandas. So I think everybody has the sheet. सबके पास वो sheet है कि नहीं? Please guys, please reply in the chat box. It will be easier for me to understand. सबके पास वो शीट है, एंड आई थिंक सब लोग ने जुपिटर खोल के ये शीट खोल लिया होगा. After opening Jupyter, after opening Jupyter, in that we have class 1 pandas, which we'll open, and in this we'll open class 1 introduction to pandas and indexing.ipynb. Has everyone got it till here? Guys, please reply in the chat box so I'll be able to understand. All right. Everybody else? Getting a few replies. Anybody who's facing any problem, who's not been able to open the sheet? What problem, Tushar? Have you got the file that we had sent via mail? Sir, we had sent one file via mail, and it is also sent via the chat box. It has also been sent via Telegram. So everybody, please first open the file. Just give me a moment. I'll be back. Until then, guys, please open the file. All right. So I think now everyone must have opened it by now. Okay. Sachin, Vipul, do you all have the file or not?
No.
Who doesn't have the file?
Vipul.
All right. All right, Vipul. So the file was sent to you via mail. So you can download the file. I'll give you another. We can take another 2 minutes. It is being sent via mail to everybody. I think it is labeled class 1 pandas, link and class material. So you can just find the mail and you can open the file. All right, so let's proceed now. All right, so how do we import the package pandas? All right, so first we will write the word import. How to zoom the screen? Which screen is my screen? To full screen. This is full screen mode. Uh, share. I will try zooming it in here. That if that helps. All right, Sachin. All right. So first we import pandas package. To import the pandas package, we will write down the word import. All right. तो कोई भी package को अगर हम लोग को import करना है, we will write down the word import. उसके बाद the package's name. जैसे here we are trying to do pandas. So here we will write down the word pandas. All right. So first we will write import pandas and we will run it. To run it, we'll press shift enter. When we press shift enter, we can see that this line of code has been run. All right. But now when we are using a particular package, what happens in what happens in Python is that you have to keep referring to the particular package again and again whenever you're trying to create an object or whenever you're trying to work with something that is related to pandas. All right. So whatever work we'll be doing today, you will be seeing that we are trying to work on some object which is a pandas object, or we'll be trying to work on something related to pandas. So every time we will have to write down something like, say, pandas dot data frame. All right. Or say pandas dot series. So what happens is that it becomes extremely tedious when someone is writing long lines of codes. So what people do is, as an industry practice, we put a short form. All right. So import pandas as, so they put a as over here, and then they give a short form. Say for pandas it is PD. All right. So now what they're doing is they are telling this Python system to import pandas and to give it a short name of PD. All right. So we are importing pandas as PD. So similarly, there is, like we said, there is another package called NumPy. So try to import NumPy package and assign it a short name of NP. All right. So do it, everyone, and please put it in the chat box. What code will we write over here? We have to import the NumPy package and assign it a short name of NP. Try writing the code by yourself and try putting it in the chat box. Yes, correct, Pooja. So we will do import NumPy as NP. All right. So now we can see that we have got the two packages, that is pandas and NumPy. Now before we start working with pandas, we have to understand the structure of things. All right. How does this entire structure work? See, when we are working on a software like Python or R or SAS, they are not a store of data. All right. You cannot expect that you will store the data in these. The data is stored on other applications or other softwares like Excel, CSV, HTML, SQL. All right. We know SQL is known to handle big data, right? It is a big storehouse of data. So we are actually storing the data in either Excel, CSV, or SQL. And then what we are doing is we are trying to bring the data onto Python. All right, हम लोग Python के sheet पे वो data लेकर के आना चाह रहे हैं, using which we will do some computation. All right, हम लोग वो data को लेकर के आए, अब उस data पे कुछ computation करेंगे, and then we will get a meaningful output. All right, so that is the entire structure how this works. So you are importing data. After importing the data, you are doing some computations. Now that computation can be done, you can do any kind of computation, be it some machine learning algorithm like logistic regression, linear regression, or be it some plotting or whatever. So all those kind of work has to be done using Python, but Python is not storing your data. I get many students who are confused where they think that Python will help them store the data, but that is not true. All right, Python is not storing the data for you. You have the data stored somewhere, that is either in Excel, CSV, HTML, SQL. There are others also. You will have the data over there, and then you will bring the data onto Python. All right. So now for the sources of data. So like I said, there are many sources of data: CSV, Excel, HTML, SQL, HDF5 format, SAS, SPS. All right. So all these sources of data using which you can see that you can import the data. Here I have mentioned a link. Here I have mentioned the official document of Pandas. All right. This is the official document of Pandas. And in this, we can see that there are input output tools. All right. So here you can see that there is a reader file and there is a writer file. With reader, we mean that there is data and we want to read. All right. We want to read that data onto our Jupyter platform. So how will we do that? So see, for CSV, we can see that they have a line of code say read underscore CSV. Similarly, for Excel, we can see that we have read underscore Excel. All right. So for this, what we will do is we will import the CSV file. So here what I've done is in the folder that I've sent to you all, I have put in 3 dummy datas. All right. We have put in 3 sets of dummy datas that we will practice importing first. So what we will do is PD. All right. PD is nothing but the shorthand for pandas. So PD dot read underscore CSV. All right. So dummy data 1 is nothing but a CSV file. So PD dot read underscore CSV. Then we'll put brackets, open quotes, and inside that we'll put dummy data 1 dot CSV. All right. And we will save it in a variable named dummy data 1. So to save it as dummy data 1, what I'll do is dummy data 1 is equal to, and then PD dot read underscore CSV dummy data 1 dot CSV. All right. Now when I do this, I can see the data has loaded over here. All right. Are you all able to get it till here? Aditya, Sachin, Pooja, for all those who have the sheet, is everyone able to do it till here? All right. So I think people are able to do this. Now try to do this by yourself. Yes, Sachin, I have not given any path. The reason of not giving any path is, see, you have to understand. This is which one? One second. See, I have not given any path to you because your file is in this folder only. All right. So if you have the file in this folder, you do not need to give it a path. All right. I have my class 1 introduction to pandas and indexing.ipynv in the same folder as that of dummy data 1. So in that case, Sachin, I do not have to give any path. All right. So now try to do one by yourself, and guys, please write down the code in the chat box. Here we have dummy data 2. All right, and I want to save it in a variable dummy data 2. Is it fine now? Okay, I think. Yeah. Yeah, so please try this. Please try the second one. Yeah. Everybody, please put down the code that you all have written in the chat box so that I can see. Dummy data 2 is equal to pd.read underscore csv data. Yes, you are getting this error because you have not put in a .csv over here. See, if you are working on a CSV file, you have to understand the format of the file and you have to give the extension. All right. So here we can see dummy data 2. The type is a CSV file, right? So you have to write .csv. Nothing is showing because you have to, after it is done, you have to search for the variable, right? In this variable, your value is stored. In dummy data, like in dummy data 1 or dummy data 2, your value is stored. So you have to write dummy data 1 or dummy data 2, and then you'll be able to see your answer, Sachin. All right. So dummy data 2 is equal to p. Here I have dummy data. All right. So here I can see that these are the closing prices of some stock. Now moving to the next type. Now moving to the next example. Here what we have done is, here we have taken an Excel file. All right. Dummy data 3 is not a CSV file, but it is an Excel file. So obviously what will happen is you have to understand that it is not possible to discuss all the types in the class. So when we are doing this, what you have to do is, when you are working by yourself, you have to look for the type of data that you are referring to. All right. So in this case, we are doing an Excel file. Excel file, we can see it is read underscore Excel. Read underscore Excel. So what we will do is pd dot read underscore Excel, and inside this, then we'll give the parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis we'll give dummy data 3 dot xlsx. All right, so this is the extension for Excel file. So you have to give dummy data 3 dot xlsx. Once you do this, you will be able to see the file. Now, because see, like Sachin, you were asking me, we were like now we are able to see the file directly. That is because we have not stored this in a variable. Now, suppose if I store this in a variable, say dummy data 3 is equal to this. So now I will not be able to see the file until unless I don't access the particular variable. Everybody got it here? Use of underscore. Underscore has no use actually. It is just a style of writing. Uh, oh, okay. So, okay, I thought you were asking for a variable. Okay, you're asking here. So that is how the function is written. All right. So, Sachin, actually, these functions are written at the back. All right. So, somebody who has written the function has written it as read underscore Excel. All right. So, these are written as a part of a method. All right. So, now let's move on. See, now we are seeing the data. All right. After we have imported the data, we need to understand the components of a particular data. In any data, you will see that we have index or rows, columns and values, right? Index is what? Index is the extreme left hand side of the data, and the column is on the top, and whatever we have in between is the values. So we have these three elements, only then we can make any kind of data. All right. And to describe index and column, we have to think of them like an address for the value. All right. An address for the third component, that is value, is what we are calling as index and column, where column is the vertical address and index is the horizontal address. All right. So now what as we are moving on with pandas, let's try to understand the first let's try to understand the first component of dataset properly, that is index. All right. So like I said, index is the horizontal address of any particular value in the data. All right. Now in pandas, the data is divided in pandas. There are many kind of data. All right. And I have divided them into four types for my understanding. All right. One is the basic type of index, in which we have the PD dot index, range index, categorical index. Then we have the interval based index, multi index, and date based indexing. All right. We will look into each type of indexing one by one. So first, let's start with the first type of index, that is pandas dot index. All right. Pandas dot index, what we mean by this is, see, pandas dot index is used for any discrete value. All right. For any discrete value that you want to create a index, you can create that using pandas dot index. So for that, what you have to do is you have to write PD dot index, and then you have to give open close parenthesis. Inside this, so suppose here I want to create an index with value 1, 2, and 3. So what I will do is here I will make a list. All right. So you will make a list inside, and inside that you will write 1, 2, 3. All right. So these are the elements. These are the elements with which I want to create an index. Now suppose if I do shift enter, I can see that an index object is created with 1, 2, and 3 as the elements. Is everybody clear with this? I will save this in a variable name idx. Are we clear with this? pd.index, and inside the index what you will do is you will use a list, and inside that you will give the values. The use of creating an index is basically such in when you will be creating the values. All right, so you will be like when you will be having values in the data, and if you want to access them, you will access them via some sort of index. All right, now when we are working with some data that is imported from Excel or otherwise, you have a column already which you will make it, which you'll make as the index. That is fine, but first you will have to understand how to create an index. Only then later on when you're working with index you'll be able to do other kind of operations. So yes, you will not be creating index every time going forward, but yes, initially you have to understand it once. This is just for the initial part. All right, like we had done in the classes that we used to do earlier, list and all. Obviously you are not every time creating the data in Python itself, right? But you had to learn to how you can create a list, how you can create a dictionary, how you can create a tuple, and so on. So to do any kind of operation, we are initially just understanding how do we create that particular object. Yes, index are the titles in the leftmost column. All right, so now let's try this by ourselves. Let's try to create an index with a list containing objects A, B, and D. All right, and we want to save it as IDX2. Everybody, please do this. No, pandas index is not the same as that of a tuple index, string index, or a list index. Pandas is a package, and it has its own object, that is pandas index. All right, so everybody, I'm waiting for an answer. Please give me an answer. Uh, put the answer in the chat box. Create an index with list containing AA, B, and D. All right, so how will we create? Anybody, please give the answer in the chat box. PD dot index, and here what will we write inside? Sachin, Pooja, Aditya, Tushar, Vipul. No. So you will have to create a list inside. See, if we try to do A, whatever, say A, and then say for example we have a B. This will give an error. Why? Because see, you have to understand this is a function. All right, this pd.index is like a method inside the pandas. So when we are working with this, how will pandas understand that a and the next a, like these are not parts of the method, but these are the same element. So to make it as the same element, you have to give it in some form of an iterable. So in which case we are using a list. All right. So try to put it in a list. All right. So A, B, D, and then you're putting it in a list, and we have to store it as IDX2. Here, what we could have also done is, if for those who have done my earlier sessions, what we could have also done is, suppose we have a list, and we could have written this like A, B, D also. All right. So basically, what we could have done is we could have just done this also. PD dot index, and then we have this. Right. Same thing. Anyway, so now that we have created an index object, let's try to understand the attributes and methods of this index object. All right. So what is an attribute of an index object? See, first let's understand what is attribute and what is a method. First, let's understand what is an attribute and what is a method. So let's take an example of a car. Any characteristic of a car will be known as the attribute of the car, and any behavior of the car will be known as the method of the car. By this, what I mean to say is, suppose this is a car, there's a car. So the color of the car is the attribute. Why? It is a characteristic. Say it is red in color, blue in color, gray in color. So that is an attribute. But you can drive a car is the method. All right, because it is a behavior, it is an action. But those things which are used to describe the car is an attribute. All right. So similarly, for the pandas index object, there are many attributes and there are many methods. So first, let's start with some of the attributes. Here also I have given a link. All right, here I've given a link of all the methods and attributes. All right, of all the methods and attributes of pandas. Here I will be discussing the important ones. All right, with y'all I'll be discussing the important ones. But whenever y'all are working on pandas, you can refer to the main sheet in case there is something that you're not able to find. So return the data type object of the underlying data. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to return the data type. मतलब उस particular object में किस type का data है. So to do that kind of an exercise, you can see here, return the D type object of the underlying data. All right. So in that case, what I can do is I can simply write idx dot what is idx? Idx object that I've created here. All right, मैंने ये idx object already create कर दिया है. So I'm writing idx dot, and then here I can see that I have to write D type. All right. So this comes here, and then I write D type, and then I can see that it is int 64, which means it is an integer. Since all the objects in this idx, that is 1 2 3, they are integers. So here I can see that it is int 64. Is everybody clear till here? '64 refers to the 64 bits. All right, so there are 64-bit systems and 32-bit systems, right? So it refers to that. Any other question? All right. So the next one is that we want to check if the index has unique values. If the index, so idx dot. Now we want to check whether it has unique values or not. So here I am opening this sheet in front of you all. All right, just tell me what attribute will we use. Yes, so somebody is saying is unique. That is correct. Somebody has tried for IDX2 1 second. So let's, so IDX2 dot D type. Okay, people, let me just look into this. I will discuss on this later on because this is something weird. All right. Anyways, so let's discuss ahead first. All right. So IDX dot is unique. And here I'm getting true. Why? Because all the values that are there in the index are unique. That is, there is no duplicate values. So when we are working with data, it is very important that that the values in the rows are unique, right? Why? Because we want to have only one horizontal address. But in Python, however, it is not a necessity. All right. But if you look in SQL and other programming languages, they prefer that the index value or the row or the horizontal address is unique in nature. All right. Now give a name to the index. So like I said that here we are talking about attributes. So what I can do is idx dot name. Idx dot name. Here if I give a name, I will not get any output. Why? Because have I mentioned any name over here in this idx that I've created? Have I mentioned any name? No. So if I have not mentioned any name over here, what I can do is I can do idx dot name is equal to, and then I can give, say anything, say I'm giving hello. All right. And now if I do idx dot name, I will get hello. Now just to see, if I do idx, you will be able to see that this index has a name called hello. All right. So it has a name hello. Whereas if we see the same index that we had created earlier, this is the same index that we had created earlier, but it does not have a name over here. But here I have assigned this name. And so now this index object has a new attribute that is a name. All right. Okay, Vipul. So here that the data type that they're referring to is object. All right. So it is treating it like an object. So since it is not an integer or a float, it is directly classifying them as object. And that is why we are getting a O over here. Taken a D type, and then we have this O which is referring to the object. Now then again there are, if you want to check the shape, size and values, so like that you can see that we have the shape attribute, we have the size attribute, we have the values attribute. All these are basically, if you want to check what are the characteristics of the index object, so it is simple. All you have to do is index dot shape, and you will get it is 3 comma, since it is default it is 1. All right, so 3 comma 1, which means that there are 3 rows and 1 column. All right, similarly we have idx dot size, which is 3 again, which means that there are 3 values. And if I do idx dot values, I will get 1, 2 and 3. All right. So these are some basic, what do you say, the attributes. Now let's look at some of the methods. All right. So like I said, method is nothing but a behavior. In the sense, when we took the car example, what we were saying is that the car runs, or you can drive a car. That is a behavior. That is not a characteristic of a car. A color of a car, it has four wheels, it has a steering, it has a gearbox. These are basically the characteristics, but you can drive a car, or there is a behavior. That is what we can call as a method. All right. So suppose I want to append one index to another. Append one index to another. Guys, please look at the method list and tell me which one will we use. By append, we mean we want to join. All right.
Append method.
Yes. All right. So for anybody who wants to answer, please put it in the chat box. It becomes easier that way. All right. Yes. So like people are saying, it's append. So what we'll do is, suppose we have, say, idx dot append. Inside this, what we will do is, see, now that we have learned to create an index, what I can do is say pd dot index, and again inside this, what I can do is I can do, say for example, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. Suppose I do something like this. So then I can see that I have idx dot append, and inside I've created another index object. Or what I could also do is, I could do something like idx dot append, and here I could do something like idx2. That will also work. All right. So here we can see 1, 2, 3, and then we have AA, B, D, which is idx2 is something that we had created earlier. All right. So what is the append method doing? Append method is basically having on one side object 1, and on the second side it is having object 2, and it is just merging them, or it is bringing them together. All right. Now the next one, return the largest value of the index. So again, for the largest value of the index, tell me which one will be used from the screen that I'm sharing. Return the largest value. Yes, correct, Vipul. Everybody else? So here basically we will be using what? The max function. We can see that it returns the maximum value. All right, return the maximum value of the index. So here what we will do is simple, idx dot max, and here it is returning the largest value. If y'all would have noticed, in whatever attribute we were using, attribute characteristic जो हम लोग बोल रहे थे, in the characteristic we were never using the open and close parentheses. All right, we were not using the open and close parentheses. Why? Because it is not a behavior, it is not a function, it is something that we are using to describe that object. All right. but in whatever method that we have used, say for example append, usme what we are doing is we have an open close parenthesis. Here also we have an open close parenthesis. Here also, even if we have no object inside it, we still have the open and close parenthesis. All right. Similarly, to return the lowest value of the index, everybody please give an answer. To return the lowest value of the index, what will we use? Yes, so there is a very good question. We have appended the index, so shouldn't 7 be the answer? So 7 is not the answer over here because you have not saved the changes. All right, you have to save the changes in case you want to store it. So here, suppose if I do idx equal to idx dot append. So in this case, now if I see the max value, it will be 7. Yes, so the correct answer is min. So idx dot min and open close parenthesis. Why? Because it is a function and we get the answer 1. Now return the location of the largest value in the index. Please give quick answers. All right. It is on the screen only. So we want to return the position. All right. We want to return the location or the position of the largest value in the index. What will it be? Yes, correct, people. Everybody else, please answer. Aditya, Tushar. The answer is on the screen. So find the correct method. Anybody else? Any other answer? All right. So here we will use the argmax. All right, argmax. Why? Because it returns the integer position of the largest value in the series. It returns the integer position of the largest value in the series. What does this mean? Integer position. So suppose idx dot arg. What is it? Let me see this argmax. All right, argmax. So here it is returning the number 6 or integer 6. What do we mean by integer 6 over here? Like we have always discussed in all our classes, IDX, like we have discussed in all our classes, indexing in Python starts from 0. So this is on the 0th value, this is on the 1th value, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So if we see like this, we can see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, 6 has the number 7. So in that case, it will return to us the answer 6. Is this clear to everybody? Are we moving too fast? Is there any largest number is float? If the number is a float, no, this in this case it is returning the location. So the location has to be always an integer. Here we were talking about a value. Here we were talking about a value, right? So let me just. So maybe dot index. Here suppose I have 1, 2, 5, 2, 1, 1. All right, suppose this is the index. Now here suppose I'm doing dot max, it will give me 6.1. But here suppose if I'm doing arg max, it will give me value 5. Why? Because this is the location in which the value is stored. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. All right, in the 5th place this value is stored, so the value 5. So argmax is returning the position. Is it clear now? Whereas max is returning the largest value. All right, now return the location of the lowest value. Here what will we use, everybody? Now this is easy. Location of the, yes, argmin, correct. So here what we will do is idx dot argmin, and we'll get the value 0. Why? Because the lowest value is 1, in the index place 0. Similarly, to make a copy again, here we can see we have the method called copy. All right, method called copy. So in this case what we'll do is idx dot copy. So here we are simply just creating a copy, and that copy I can store it anywhere. Say I'm storing it in, say, idx10. Okay. Now suppose I want to delete an element from the index. To delete an element from the index, what you need to do is say idx dot, one second, let me just put idx over here so that we can refer to it. So we have idx, and now suppose I want to do idx dot delete, and here, like I've given, here you have to give the location. All right, not the element. You can't give 7 over here. All right, suppose if you want to delete, say, this number 7 over here, and you give 7 over here, what happens is it is deleting this element. It is deleting 4. There is no 4 over here, right? So here what we are talking about is, here we are talking about the location. So if say this is 7, 8, 9, 10, so here I have to mention, say, 10, and then I can see that this element is being deleted. So using the delete, you have to mention the location. That is again given in the sheet over here. All right, so you don't have to worry about it. Delete, and then here it is given LOC, which refers to the location. Everybody clear until here? Guys, please reply if you're clear or not so that we can proceed. Sachin, is it clear? Aditya, is it clear? Vipul? All right, now moving on. Return a new index with elements of IDX not in IDX3. All right, so this is something that is from the sets theory. All right, so say for example, if you have IDX, you have IDX over here, and say we have IDX3. Do we have IDX3? I don't know. Okay. Okay, so suppose let's create an IDX3 is equal to pd dot index, and so now index has many values. Suppose if I give say 1, 2, 3, 10. So suppose I have IDX and I have IDX3 over here. All right. So what I can do is IDX dot difference, and here suppose I'm giving IDX3. So what is it returning? It is returning all the values that are of IDX which is not there in IDX3. So IDX3 has 1, 2, 3, which is common to IDX 1, 2, 3. Similarly, we have 1, 2, and 3 over here. What we don't have is 4, 5, 6, and 7. So that it is giving over here as 4, 5, 6, and 7. Are we clear till here? We will not be providing the recording immediately. It will be provided later on. All right, it will be uploaded by us on our website, so you will be able to access it from there later on, maybe. All right, everybody else. So there is 7 2 time it returns only one. Yes, because here it is seeing the element. See 4, 5, 6, 7. Then both all these elements are there. 4, 5, 6, 7 are there 2 times. But it is not seeing that. It is seeing that yes, the element that is there in IDX but not there in IDX3. So 4, 5, 6, 7 are common. So it is not mentioning them twice. It will only mention it once. Okay. So now moving to the next one, create an index object with value 131135 whatever and save it as idx4. All right, so guys, please do this one, put this up, do the first one. All right, create an index object with values 113523. I want everybody to please answer. Just we have to create a simple index object. Everybody please do this. And once it is done, please put the answer in the chat box or write that you have done it. Yes. Uh, 1 second. Spacing. 1 second. Spacing is not required between numbers. No, the spacing is not required. This I do it just to keep the code clean so that I am able to understand. All right. So we have to save it, say as idx4, and here we are giving pd dot index, and here 113523. All right. Now return the index with duplicate values removed. All right. So in idx4, we want to remove the duplicate values. How will we remove the duplicate values? Let's look at. So give me an answer, guys. How will we remove the duplicate values? Look at the method that is given on the screen. Yes, correct, Aditya. No, Aditya, the answer has to be from one on the screen. Look at the method that are given on the screen. Yes. So we have to use drop duplicates. Correct. Return index with duplicate values removed. So what we will do is again idx4 dot drop duplicate. So here, since this is a method, I have to give parentheses. And so here we can see that the duplicate values 1, 1, 3, 5, 2, 3, in which we could remove the 1 and we could remove the extra 3. All right. So now coming to the next concept, that is equals. All right, IDX and IDX3, in which we have to compare whether the objects are equal or not. All right, so IDX, now with that you have to use the equals and then you have to give IDX3. All right, what is this doing? This is checking whether IDX and IDX3 are equal or not. Obviously we'll get a false answer. Why? Because we can see IDX has these objects, whereas IDX3 has these objects. All right. Similarly, try this by yourself. Check if IDX and copy of IDX. All right. So we have done the copy method before. We have done the copy method before. Please try to do this idx.copy. All right. And check whether they are equal or not. IDX and IDX.copy, whether they're equal or not. And give the answer in the chat box. Yes, using equal, that is correct, but just try writing the entire code by yourself once and put the entire code in the chat box, not just equal. Yes, correct. IDX dot equals, no, then you will write IDX dot copy, not just IDX equals IDX. IDX dot equals IDX dot copy. Correct, because we want to check for the copy of IDX. So IDX dot equals IDX dot copy, and IDX dot copy is inside this. Is it clear? Yes, correct, Aditya. But IDX dot copy has to have a parenthesis because we have because this is a method. All right. Similarly, now let's move on to identical. All right, let's move on to the next type, that is identical. So IDX dot identical IDX3. So what is the difference between equals and identical is that identical will check whether all the attributes are same or not. They will check for the values. All right, values to check ho gayi, but at the same time they will also check whether the other attributes except for the values. See, equals over here is checking only for the values, but for identical, identical will check the other attributes also. Like, let me explain. ठीक है, सपोज हम लोग के पास idx है, idx dot name is suppose equal to, I give this to be say hello. All right, and here I have idx, as 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 4 5 6 7. Now suppose here if I'm checking idx dot identical, and here I'm creating another index inside, and suppose I'm writing 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 4 5 4 5 6 7. Suppose I'm doing this. All right. So here you can see IDX and this new object or the new index that we have created, they have the same values. This is what, again, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 4 5 6 7, same. The elements are the same, just that it has one new attribute, that is hello, that this particular index object does not have. So because it does not have this new, it does not have this one attribute, identical will give this as false. But if I try the same thing with equals, if I try the same thing with equals, it will give true. All right, so equals is not checking for the other attributes, it's only checking for the value, whereas identical is checking for the attributes also. Is this clear to everybody? Any changes in IDX will auto change copy or remain same? No, any changes in index, like okay, so the question is, suppose we have copied a particular index. So basically the question is, suppose we have, okay, so suppose we have, say, equal to, say, pt dot index 1 2 3. Okay, now idx 11 is equal to idx 10 dot copy idx 10 dot delete 0, and we have idx 11. All right, so if there is any changes in idx, it, whatever copying element that we are doing, the changes will not be done automatically. All right, they will remain the same. Any other question till here? Sachin, any doubts? Shreyas, any doubt? All right, great. Anybody else, any doubt? All right, so the next one is insert an element in the index. Insert an element in the index. So for that, we have the insert method. All right, so what you will do is idx dot insert you will give the location. All right, location again, by that we mean the index value. All right, so suppose I give 0 and I give a new element, say s. If I do this, so in the 0th place I can see that an s is added. All right, now return unique values in the index idx 4. All right, so here we have already done this. Return the unique values in the index idx 4. So how will we return unique values? See, to return unique values, what we can do is we can either drop the duplicate, or we have done earlier, yeah, no, unique values, check. Okay, so I don't think we've done unique earlier. All right. So to suppose to return the unique values, again what we can do is we can do idx dot unique. All right, so the unique method is here. See, we have the unique method here, which returns the unique value of the index. So what we can do is again idx dot unique. So now we get 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. And the last one is that it is to return the number of unique values. So to return the number of unique values, what you have to do is again here we have a method which is n unique. All right, n unique, or the number of unique values. So in this case, what we are doing is idx dot n unique. So here it is returning that we have 7 unique values. All right. So if anyone has any doubts still here, they can ask me, or you can go on to try these questions. Okay. Somebody saying got it, sir. Anyone has any other doubt over here? Try this by yourself. Try to add value p. All right, in idx2 in the third location. So I will help you over here. Here you have to use the insert method. All right, use the insert method and try to add value p in idx2 in the third location. Please try this, everybody. Please give the answer in the chat box. Yes, correct. idx2 dot insert in location 3 value p. Absolutely correct. Anybody else? Yes, so I'm getting correct answers over here. All right. So idx2 dot insert, and in insert dot insert, and in this we have in the third place value p. All right, so in the third place by the, okay, sorry, so this is the third location, sorry. So in the third location means indexing starts from 0. So here we'll give a 2. All right. So that is okay. I think for those who have answered, they have got the concept. All right. Check if now the next question, check if the unique values of IDX2 is equal to PD dot index of A, B, D. All right. So what is this question? Try to break down this question. First of all, we have IDX2, all right, which has A, B, and D. Now in this, we want to check if the unique values. So first we have to get the unique values. How will we get the unique values? Everyone? Yes, correct, Yatish. So IDX2 dot unique. Perfect. So I'm getting answers here. IDX2 dot unique. After we get the unique values, we want to check whether it is equal to PD dot index of A, B, and D. So what we will do is dot equals PD dot index again here, and then we will do A, B, and D. All right. Now delete the first element of the unique values of IDX2 and add Q in place of it. So delete the first element is the first part, and then you have to add the next element. Please try this. First, how will we delete the first element? Everybody, please give the answer. For delete, whatever we learned, we'll use the delete method, right? So how will we write this? IDX2 dot delete. And here what will I give? I will give the location. So how will I give the location? What will be my location over here if I want the first element? Zero. Correct. So I want to delete 0. So it is saying the first element of unique values. Yes, correct, Yatish. So first we want the unique values. Unique values. From that we want to delete the first element, and then what do we want to do? We want to add another value in place of this. So how will we add? What is the method to add? Everybody please give the answer. Yes, correct, insert. So dot insert, and here first we'll give the location, that is in the first place we want, so we will give a 0, and then we will add Q. Correct. So here I will give Q. All right. So once I do this, I can see in place of A I have Q, then I have B and D. All right, everybody is clear till here? I think it is time, so let's keep the session till here.